made it back for another episode of Mutual Ground. I want you to sit back, relax, buckle up, get you a beverage, and join us as we throw another brick down on this path and we learn more about ourselves today.
Yeah.
Get ready. Hey! Welcome. For those of you who don't know, my name is Patrice. Thank you again for joining me. And today, my good friend, esteemed colleague, just one of the best people I know. This is Danae, Miss Scott, if you will.
That's right.
So I just want to say welcome.
Thank you.
Come on in.
Thank
you for grabbing a spot on this couch.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So, what made you say yes? What made you jump into the ask here?
I mean, how could I say no? Yeah.
How could anyone say no?
That's right.
So if anybody has $1 million, you want to give it to me. You
do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again. Thank you.
Yes.
For jumping in on this path. I want to get a plethora of voices, plethora of opinions, and that's my word for tonight.
Plethora is the word.
Okay.
I
just want I want people to see that we are all on this path, this journey.
Yeah.
And it looks different for each of us.
Absolutely.
But it is the same at the very core.
Yes.
So, tonight's super fun topic, right?
Yeah.
Our brick in this path tonight is commitment.
Commitment.
Yes.
That's a hard word for some
That's
people.
a hard word. So I'm going to start with, what's your definition of commitment?
My definition of commitment is being all in. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Or if, you're just all in. If you're committed, you're committed.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. If you're in it, you're in it. Like, maybe not always in my life. However, I try when I'm in something to be 110% in it. Not partially committed, but fully committed.
Yeah. That's hard for a lot of people, the partial commitment to full commitment. That's hard.
It is.
When I see the word commitment or I hear commitment, I think of longevity.
Yeah.
The word I associate with that is longevity. It's not just for a little while. It's for a couple of seasons. Church folks, we always it's a season, so it's the season. So I think of several seasons when I hear longevity. I hear long term when I hear commitment, and there's people commit to all sorts of things, and so so when I hear it, I think longevity. I think this is going to be for a while. This is not just I check the box and I'm done. Yeah. This is okay. We're gonna stay. We're gonna sit in this for a minute. So when I hear commitment, that's longevity is what I hear. Okay. What would you say the world says?
Ooh.
About the word commitment?
Ooh. I think the world doesn't take it seriously. I think the world thinks I can say I'm committed. Yeah. But maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give you a little bit.
Okay, so we baby step in commitment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We're giving little nuggets of commitment.
Yes. But I don't think that the world view of commitment is fully committed.
Okay. So it's partial, pieced.
It's how do I feel today?
Ooh.
Commitment.
I feel like being committed today.
Right.
Tomorrow,
right this moment. I feel like I'm going to be committed.
That's good, because the world says you can be committed to several different things all at once.
Yes.
That you can be committed to this here and committed to that here and committed to this over here, and then when you're done with this one, I don't want to be committed anymore, and I'm good. I tried it.
Right.
I don't need that anymore. So I think commitment, the world's view of commitment is that you don't have to stay. that it's not long term, that it is based on feeling instead of based on actual commitment, actual saying, I'm going to stick and stay.
Yeah.
I think the world also, it makes it easy for people to get out of things.
Agreed.
I think that they have made the commitment button. There's an eject button on everything with commitment. I can, I don't feel it anymore. It's harder than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm out. I'm out. I don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I take back my commitment. Mm-hmm. They renege. For those of y'all, they renege on their commitment, and we're not for it. Okay?
That's right.
No reneging.
No reneging.
Yes. That's all for all my spade players.
That's right.
No reneging. Okay? No reneging. You getting off my spade table. But it's the renege on the commitment, and the world definitely makes it okay for you to commit to one thing temporarily.
Absolutely.
There's no long commitment, I think.
True.
Yeah.
I think the world makes it easy just to quit in general. But it definitely makes commitment real easy to
walk away from. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, with the world making it easy to walk away from, is it walking away from it because we don't fear consequences, or walking away because we don't care at all? What would you say?
Oh.
Yeah.
I think in a worldly aspect, we don't fear consequences.
Yeah.
In a worldly view, there are no consequences anymore.
I will agree. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so what? That, there's just no consequences.
Yeah. There's no repercussions for the action. They're the equal and opposite reaction to something. Mm-hmm. So when you break a commitment, there's no, you can't talk about commitment without talking about the different types of commitments that there are. There's job commitments that people make and break all the time.
All the time.
And
all the time.
The job commitment is the driver behind that, I think, is money.
Oh, absolutely.
They break the commitment to a company. The money. Yeah. They're paying me 3 cents more over here, so I'm going to go over here because they're paying me 3 cents more.
Or they give me 5 hours more vacation over here, so I'm going to go over here.
Yeah. I get sick days and holidays. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. And spousal, spousal time off when
I get
paternity leave.
I get 5 hours maybe of paternity. That's the new thing.
Yes. Well,
I mean, I think companies should have it. I'm not saying that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I think what they're giving is a joke. But that's a whole nother topic for another day.
Yes. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that one.
Yes.
But as we continue commitment.
Yes.
So it's the job commitment. I think it's also family commitment.
Yes.
Commitment to stick and stay with the people you have around you. Those are those crazy cousins. Hi, y'all.
Yeah.
It's the crazy cousins. It's the brothers and sisters that you're like, am I really related to them? They're adopted. Please tell me they're adopted. It's that kind of, it's commitment to stay with them.
Right.
And then also, I think you can't talk about family without talking about relationships. Yeah. Relationships, that is, those are the hard ones. Those are the ones that when they're separated, it hurts the most.
Oh, yes.
I think, with relational commitments. Because, again, the world has made it so easy to just be like, I'm not committed anymore. I was only trying it. I didn't have to buy it, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would say that is the relational one is the one I think that hurts the most. Because with family, you're expecting family to act crazy. Co-workers, you're expecting for jobs to... They don't give you 2-week notice, so I'm a firm believer you don't give them 2-week notice, okay? Quote me on it, I said it.
Don't listen to her.
But, it is, with relational, that's the one that cuts the deepest because there's so much more involved in that commitment.
Absolutely.
That ripping that apart, it rips things. And I think that's what happens when you are commitment is a contract.
It is.
It is a verbal contract that you've said to a person, a place, or even to yourself. Commitments that you've made to yourself.
Ooh.
Self-commitments. That one
I think those are harder, honestly.
Yeah.
Because who's holding you accountable to you?
Yeah. Ooh.
Who's holding you accountable? How many times have you told yourself, I'm not going to eat this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Not going to see him anymore.
Uh-huh. Ooh, girl. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But when we make those commitments to ourselves, who do we have that's holding us accountable?
Yeah. And that's just it. Who is really keeping our feet to the fire?
Right.
To hold those commitments. And what are the benefits of keeping committed to something? Because people look at the flip side of that coin is, commitments are hard. Commitments are, sometimes they're not fun. Sometimes you're not having a good time. Sometimes you're like, I am just going through the motions, but I committed to do this, so I'm going to stick with it. What do you think the other side of commitment, what is the benefits of sticking and staying?
Well, I think depending on what scenario we're looking at, if we're looking at like a self-commitment, okay, if I have promised myself that I'm going to stop eating sweets and I'm going to exercise just once a day. Once a week, not once a day. Because I'm not going
once
to
a
do day.
It. Listen, y'all
once a week. What you benefit from that.
Might get.
Maybe.
It's the slim maybe. Okay.
Real slim. But at the end of that, when you reduce your sugar intake, you're going to physically feel better. Emotionally, you're going to feel better. You may even lose some weight. You're going to have more energy. So you're going to reap some benefits. You've just got to be committed
long enough
to reap those benefits and see what it feels like.
Yeah. So that's self-commitments. And then, so let's just say work commitments. What are the benefits on the other side of being committed in that way, in that aspect?
In a work commitment, you could be looking at growth. If you come to work committed with a positive attitude and you do what's expected and maybe then a little bit more than what's expected. You do a little bit more than what you committed to doing.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching.
Yes.
So maybe then there's growth.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a promotion.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. So you two words that you said that really kind of jumped at me. One was growth. That commitment is growth.
Yes.
There is growth and commitment in sticking and staying. That was really something to touch on. There was that growth, that you don't know who you are going to become on the other side of commitment.
True.
You don't know what you're going to look like on the other side of commitment. Because we always look at it from what we're sacrificing or what we're not doing versus what we're actually committing to. You said growth, and then it was, oh God, it just escaped me. Goodness. I'll come back to it, I guess. Okay. But yeah, there was another word in there that was like, yes.
Okay.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
But I forgot now, so we'll get back to that. Okay, so we know what the world says. The world says try and make as many contracts and vows and with as many different things and people as possible, and you can just break it and not have a problem and move on with your life and never look back, right? But then what does the Bible say about commitment? That's the word, if you will. And it says that a commitment is a vow in the Bible. It says that it is a vow that is made. And we don't take vows anymore. I think the only time we take vows is at the altar, and we've clearly established that many people do not honor those vows that they made on the altar. So we're not.
They do not.
So, but it's a vow. It's a contract. It is something that in the Bible they use the word covenant.
Yes.
And so it is a vow, a commitment, a covenant that you're making with that person, place, or thing, or even with yourself.
Yeah.
That is not taken so lightly in the Bible. That it says that we commit all of our works unto the Lord. So we make a commitment that everything we do is unto God and unto his good works. So the vow that you're making is a commitment that you're making with God. Like he's in this contract with you. And it also says that a vow is your word, and your word, you know, hey, go back to the word is bond, baby. You know,
is bond.
And that was your bond certificate.
Right.
You know, that was your word, was what you stood on. 10 toes down was your word. And so that in the Bible it says, let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes.
Come on.
That you cannot be double-minded, that you have to stand flat-footed and firm on what it is, and not to string people along or mislead them or deceive them in any way, but to actually stand true to your word. And that's even when it's hard. That's even when you don't want to. That's even when it's not convenient for you.
Ooh.
I think a lot of people live in this zone of convenience instead of actually doing what they've committed to. The Bible, it's a covenant, it's a contract that you're signing with your word to commit to the thing. So, and it says that being double-minded is having two masters. In the Bible, it says you cannot have two masters, for you'll love the one and hate the other. So after a while of this back and forth commitment, you'll begin to hate one side or the other. You'll either hate that you're committed to it or hate that you can't fully commit to it. So I think the Bible is very clear on your word is your bond. It is a vow and a covenant that you're making, that we are to commit ourselves to the Lord and commit ourselves to one another for accountability, if you will. And that's one of the things I think people don't think that. I think people don't act out what they say. They do what they want and never fully commit with their words. They have no standing, if you will, behind what they say. And it's gut-wrenching to the people who have to be on the receiving end of it. To be on the receiving end of somebody tearing up a contract, whether it be physically, those of you who are artists and musicians and construction workers, that somebody tears up the contract, you know, you can actually sue them. But in real life, you know, you don't get a lawsuit. You just have to take that L, if you will. The Mary J. Blige and, you know, I'm thinking of a song, call the radio, because you just can't be without your baby. You know, like, you can't, who are you going to call? Like, there is no person to keep somebody accountable. You can't force it on someone. And I think when you force somebody to be accountable, I mean, I guess children, you know, you're a mother. You had to force all of us, including myself, to be accountable for many things. Going to work, making us accountable for going to work and not letting us flake off in those situations. Forcing somebody to be accountable. Do you think that works in some cases or different scenarios? If you're forcing somebody to do a thing that they've said they don't want to do.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, because when you're forcing someone to be accountable, it can go one of two ways. They can either, when they get to the other side, appreciate the fact that you force them to be accountable, or they can then hold a grudge.
Yeah.
Because you've made them be accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it is a double-edged sword.
It is.
Because you don't want people to be able to quit so easily.
Right.
And break their commitments.
Right.
But then you don't want to add more stress and strain on somebody when they verbally said that they can't do something.
Yeah.
I think people's, as my grandmother would say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yes. I try to be very careful with my words. And, be careful with what I commit to.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to break my commitment. But, we also, some of us tend to be people pleasers.
I'm not going to say whether I am or not.
And
I'm just going to say that if y'all didn't see her pointing at me, she's rude. Just throwing that out there.
But I mean,
yeah.
But some of us do tend to be people pleasers.
Guilty.
I mean, I'm guilty sometimes too. And we don't want to say no.
Yeah.
And sometimes we overextend ourselves. So, we have to be careful with what we commit to, because though our heart may want to do it,
yes,
there just may not be enough hours in a day.
Time may not allow.
Right.
Scheduling. It sounded good on the day, and then when I actually came time to it, I'm like, listen,
I'm
I ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm tired.
Whatever.
I'm good for a nap. I will leave y'all in the napping dust.
Yes.
Y'all will call 15 million times and I'm napping.
Yeah.
Okay, I just will let y'all know that now. I will take a nap on y'all.
Truth.
Real quick.
In a heartbeat.
But yeah, I think that the people pleasing aspect of it is, a factor, a real big factor of why we do overextend ourselves and why we overcommit.
Yeah.
So what's the mutual ground? What's the thing that we all end up doing in the middle here? What would you say is the meeting place path where we all walk?
I think we all walk in a place that ultimately we take care of ourselves.
Okay. It's a selfish.
Yeah.
We end up being very selfish. Whether it, I think it's more of a compromised commitment, where we compromise on how much of the commitment we're going to actually go through with,
right?
As it is convenient for us. And it's only the things that we really want to that we stick and stay and committed to. I think it's a want. Things we want to do, we do. The things we don't want to do, we don't do.
Boy, I tell you. Because you make time for what you want to do.
Yeah.
We prioritize and we make time for what we want to make time for.
Yeah. I think that's what it ultimately, mutual ground is we do what we want when we want. And regardless of who it might hurt and who it might actually affect, we do what's convenient for us, I think. I'm guilty of it as well. Like, if I want to sit around and watch anime all day, I will. But if you ask me to go for a walk on Wednesday nights, probably not going to do it. Probably not going to do it. But it's making time for what we actually really want to do. Because it might sound good on paper when I'm talking to you here. We can make 1,000. I'll see you next Saturday for this. I'll see you next Wednesday for this. Yep. We're going to go to this concert. We're going to do all of this. It all sounds good as I'm verbally committing to you in the moment.
Until it gets closer and closer
to
that time. Then
please let her cancel. Please let her cancel.
Yes.
Jesus, if you have it in your heart. Just like praying for cancel.
Yes.
that's what we end up doing. We're praying for the cancel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want you to cancel because
absolutely.
I'm not guilty for breaking any commitments. I just went along with what you said.
Yes.
You said you didn't want to do it. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry that you have another commitment.
Right.
As I go take my nap.
Right. As I'm over here cheering. Yes.
Yeah.
Praise God. Yeah.
So I think we make time for the things that we really want to do. And everything else falls to the wayside. Mm-hmm. And that's in all of the relationship categories.
Yes. Absolutely.
At work, you make time to do all of the work that you're supposed to in the time that you're there. Or you are hiding in the bathroom for half the time. Or you take the extended walk, lunch break.
Right. Whatever the case may be.
Whatever the case may be. Family, I can't help you move. I can't help. I got this other commitment. I gotta do this.
Or you just totally
ignore
your family and separate yourself from your family.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that. Oof.
Yes,
that's another topic we could talk about.
Yeah,
because people ignore their family.
Oh yeah,
they ignore them big time.
I mean,
what's a story that you can tell about a time that you weren't able to keep a commitment, and how did that affect relationships or things happening around you? I know, put you on the spot. Mm-hmm. That you weren't able to keep a commitment.
A little warning would have been nice.
No warnings. No. I'll give you a moment. You need some water?
I'm trying, you know my memory is terrible.
I know.
But I'm trying to think of one where I committed and I couldn't, and it had a adverse. I don't know.
Okay. What about one that worked out positively, that you were able to stick and stay with a commitment and it turned out better than you could have ever thought by sticking and staying?
The wedding in December.
Okay. Talk about it.
I mean, Tracy, I love you. With every fiber of my being. I didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. I didn't.
Yeah.
But I love her I love her dearly, but I didn't want to go. For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
I was
vehemently
being forced to deal with, that crazy ex of mine, and I don't care if you watch. But I'm thankful that I went and was there for her day and a part of it.
Yeah. That would have been a regret if you hadn't gone.
Absolutely, it would have been a regret.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And it worked out positively. Your relationship was in a better light. Your overall just seeing and getting to meet and hang around him and his peoples and all of that kind of put a better light on things. Actually getting the moment to speak with him put a better light on things.
I didn't get to talk to him on the day of the wedding.
Oh, it was after. Well, it was in that week, right? Somewhere.
No, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I love you, Chuck. It's okay.
We love
it's
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Baby steps, but
baby steps. Yeah.
That definitely was a time where I was committed. I stuck with it. I stayed with it, and I'm glad that I did.
Okay.
I really can't think of a time off the top of my head where
it didn't work. Yeah, you had to say.
Now I'm sure that if you called
other people,
they could come up with something.
Phone a friend,
right?
Yeah, I would say a time that it didn't work out for me was a work-related thing, where I ended up quitting. It didn't work out for me because of the timing. This was, Victoria's Secret summer jobs. You get those jobs in the summer, and then once it didn't impact the company negatively, but the relationships that I had built over that summer impacted them negatively, so that when I did actually go back to the store that I quit, they weren't happy to see me. They were not happy to see me at all. And so This was in Miami, and they were not nice. It was, I was just tired of seeing naked Spanish women. They get in there and they just get naked in the room, and they're like 3 of them in there, and
they don't care.
They don't care. No shame. I love y'all, but they don't care. And I was just tired of being in the dressing rooms. I was tired of being in that area, and I was like, I'm out, and I quit. And I didn't give a 2-week notice because, again, the job doesn't get 2 weeks. Okay?
Don't listen to her. The right thing to do is to give 2 weeks.
So I didn't give my 2 weeks, and it affected the job negatively, so that when that next summer, when I went back, I was applying at a different Victoria's Secret, and they had flagged me, and I couldn't get the job. Like, they would not hire me again.
I thought of one.
Okay. Oops, see, as we're talking, memory come on back. Holy Spirit. Yes.
So there was a job that I had accepted as an assistant manager at a fast food restaurant.
Okay.
And a friend had gotten me the job.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
There's layers to this cake.
She was the manager.
Ooh.
And the location was like 45 minutes away from the house.
You already lost me.
Right. But it was at a very dark time where I was having a hard time finding a job.
Yeah.
And having companies that were willing to hire me. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I accepted the position. I even picked up my uniforms. And when it was the day to start,
couldn't put it on.
I didn't show up.
Ugh. So
I haven't spoken to her since. I know.
Because you've been with the company you've been with now for
16 years.
16 years. So you're talking about 16 years ago?
I mean, and we weren't like
best friends.
Besties. We were friends from high school. However, like, I don't even know how I would react if I saw her today.
Hey
girl!
Hey, you! I didn't show up. Sorry about that.
Right.
My bad.
Sorry.
But that's 16 years ago. Wow. So it ruined a relationship.
It did.
It ruined a friendship. It did. For the lack of commit, because you committed and changed your mind. It ruined a friendship where you don't even know what you would say to this person if you saw them. She walked in right now.
I don't.
No.
I mean, I would have to start with an apology.
Yeah.
A sincere apology.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm sorry.
If you ever happen to watch this,
right? I
still love you, hearts.
It was,
yeah,
but it really was. It was a very dark time.
Yeah.
So you know, I just didn't honor my commitment at all.
Ruined a friendship.
It ruined a friendship.
Wow.
It ruined a friendship, and then it also left her in a position where she needed someone to work, and there was no one there.
Yeah. So put more burden on her, more stress, more strain.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really cheesy here on one of my commitments that actually I stuck and stayed with that turned out really well was my commitment to take this walk with Christ. I think that has been one of the most hardest commitments to make because it's so easy to be compromised.
Oh, yeah.
But being committed and seeing myself on the other side of the commitment, I think has just truly been transformational and life-changing. And I recommend anybody try Jesus. You know, so
absolutely.
But I think that is going to be, super Christian, cheesy.
Yes.
And this is the moment if you want to be like, cue the violins. This is it. Where's my piano player? Piano? I need my soft piano playing in the background.
Right.
Come to Jesus. No.
Yeah.
But seriously, that if you would have told me 7 years ago, the Patrice that was, Party Patty, as I called her.
Oh, yes.
If you'd have told Party Patty that she would have on a long button-up T-shirt and
the girls weren't hanging out.
The girls weren't hanging out. I wouldn't have a spliff hanging out my mouth. I would be committed to going to church and committed to loving on others and committed to praying for others. If you would have told me this, I'd have been like, I'm high, but what are you smoking? Like, that would have been my question to you.
Yes.
But now seeing the fruit of that commitment, and I just think that was the best commitment I could have ever made, and I'm sticking and staying with it because I think that has been truly transformational. And it has not just affected me, but so many people along the walk as I've stumbled and fallen and scraped my knees and I twisted an ankle and I sprained my meniscus. You know, I'm like, there's been a lot that has happened, but actually taking the next step and doing the next thing and the next commitment. Because it wasn't always convenient. It wasn't always comfortable. It wasn't always fun. It wasn't always in my best light, because having to admit to things to people, like, nobody wants to air their dirty laundry on any setting.
No.
You know, nobody wants to talk about, I don't want to talk about the sin that I did last night. I want to talk about the sin 7 years ago.
Right.
So to actually be able to be open and honest. And I think that is one of those things that with any commitment, it's being open and honest, telling exactly how you feel in the moment that you feel it, and not being afraid or shunned in any way from feeling that way, I think. So
it's awesome.
Yeah. It's my super cheesy plug. But I do have a couple of fan...
Okay, come on.
Commitment.
Come on, let's hear them.
Okay. I'm grabbing the iPad. Okay, so... Again, we use no names, no titles. We keep this anonymous. But this is a young lady. She says, I have been in a committed relationship for the last year. We met during COVID over one of those COVID Zoom meetups. I don't know if they did COVID Zoom meetups. They started dating. They've been dating for over a year. But she says that the commitment that they had, she would like to kind of get out of it because she feels that he is not as committed as he was in the beginning. She asks, should she stay committed to a person who is only partially committed to her, or should she just go ahead and release this person to go see and date other people?
I guess my first question would be, have you had conversations? Is there communication between you and this person? Have you openly...
Do y'all live together?
Right.
Are you still
Zoom dating?
Have we gotten out of that? Like, there's so many more questions to this.
Definitely a lot of questions. Because, me personally, I'm going to ask you point blank, where are you in this? Are you really committed to this?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like you're committed to this.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be committed, I'm not going to give you my all if you're not willing to give me your all. Yeah. So let's make a decision together. What we really going to do. Yes.
And all
right.
of you. Yeah, you're going to have to give all. You're going to have to give all. So follow-up questions, if you could write back and tell us. Yeah. Are you guys still Zooming?
Right.
Because if you're still Zooming...
then there's a problem.
There's a problem there.
Unless y'all are, like, on different sides of the country or something.
And then I doubt commitments on different sides of the world anyway, so let's not even start
Absolutely.
that. I need you to be here in the flesh.
Correct.
Personally.
Yes.
So, are you still Zooming? How far do you guys live away from each other? When you say his commitment has wavered, or he's not as committed as he used to be, is it because he's busier now? Because that's another factor. If he's just busier than he was during COVID, which all of us are busier now than we were during COVID.
Yes.
We had a lot more time. I could sit on the Zoom with you for 5 hours and watch a movie with you.
Because we couldn't go anywhere.
We couldn't go anywhere. So if you're looking for pandemic level commitment, you might be, your expectation might be a little bit too high. Gonna bring it back down.
Yeah.
And I would say, so is it because he's busier, or is it because he truly just doesn't want to be with you anymore? You know, that's the real question.
Is it because he's just not that into you?
Yeah. Oh, that's another good one. He's just not that into you. You have to learn. When they're not interested, let it go. Think about it, let it go. I'm just real musical today. I don't know. Everything is a song. But
I think communication is key.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's just no point in
being committed to anybody for any length of time.
No.
That's not committed to you.
Like, you know, do we want the same things? What is the end goal here? What are we...
Are you moving to me? Am I moving to you? Because if that's not in the cards for the future...
What are we looking for long term?
What is the long term? That is true. Okay. So, write us back. Let us know.
Yeah.
We need questions.
More. Inquiring minds want to know.
More details. Please.
Yes.
Thank you. We've got the mutual ground is that we do what's best for ourselves, and we are a little bit selfish, which is never a bad thing to be selfish, but do consider that on the other side of your commitment, there might be a better version of you.
Absolutely.
And
do consider how it is affecting the other person on the side of that commitment, if it's not a commitment with yourself.
Yeah. But if you lie to you, you're going to lie to anybody.
Truth.
If you're going to just commit and keep going back on your commitments to the self, I vow here and today that I'm going to go to bed every day at this time, and I'm going to get up early.
I'm not going to eat after 5 o'clock.
Yes. Lies. Yes. As soon as you invite me out for dinner, and I'm like, where are we going? Right. Did you say Benihana's?
Right. I'm going. I'll see you at 6:30.
7 o'clock. I'll be right there. I'll be right there ready to eat.
Absolutely.
I brought my own knife and fork, okay? But it's the commitments that you make to yourself that I think cut the deepest, because it's that constant lying to yourself. And you believe you more than you believe anybody else. So if you say you're going to commit to something and you stick with it, then that's your word. So let your word be bond.
Absolutely.
That was, it was, even the foundation of this country, people founded, they were on their word. It was, that kind of.
See, and this is a pin we can stick in for another conversation too, is that we no longer have a moral compass in our country or in the world, period.
Yeah.
There is no longer a moral compass.
And the moral GPS is rerouting.
Okay? It is stuck on rerouting. Rerouting.
Yes. U-turn.
Yes.
So, that's another one. You'll have to come back, and we'll have to do one on morality.
You got it.
So,
okay.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for committing. Thank you guys for sticking with me.
Yes.
And we're gonna have more special guests coming in to chat and give their opinions. And so thank you for being here on Mutual Ground. Appreciate you.
Yes.
And we'll see y'all back here. We'll see.